That's my teaching. So that you will be understanding in AWS directly. I won't jump into AWS starting. So we will be
Okay.
seeing some how AWS or how cloud came into the picture, and what is the difference actually between on-premise and cloud, and what are the terminologies we use in cloud, what are the services we use in cloud. These kind of these kind of queries we will be having later on. We will in this session only we will be jumping into AWS. But what I say is, before jumping into AWS, we need to gain the knowledge of AWS. Okay, so
Okay.
we need to understand few terminologies like, what is a server actually? Is a server? Any idea?
Yes.
Yeah, what is a server? As per your knowledge, what is a server?
Where we can save our data, like the files and everything.
Yeah, you're right. So we can save our data, and it the purpose of a server is to provide a service to the client, right? Am I right? It provides service to the end client. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the server is nothing but you can call it as a computing program, or you can call it as a device, but that provides functionality to other devices or other programs, right? Those devices or programs known as clients. Okay, so servers usually having more processing power, more memory, more storage than client computers, right? So
Yeah.
there are different types of servers. Means in the real time there will be lots of servers, but most of the servers we use these kind of thing we'll be using now, mostly this kind of like a web server. What is a web server? We are having different like about HTML pages, right? HTML, hypertext markup language, right? So a
Mm-hmm.
web server is a computing program that serves HTML requests. Getting my point? So that server is called web server. So I'm not tackling with AWS. This is just for your knowledge. That's it. So if you have any in the future, if you have any queries also in this, you can easily explain to the other people. For that, I am saying AWS will be coming into the picture, so we need to wait for a couple of minutes. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So application server. Application server. What is application server? Application server is nothing but where we host the applications, right? Which provides a business logic. Application constraints business logic. Like if you're handling any application of your internal or external kind of thing that contains business logic in it, that is nothing but an application server. Proxy server. What is proxy server? So when you hit the URL, any kind of URL, the port will be available, right? Port like 8080, 8081. That port recognizes this proxy server. So we can call it as it recognizes um, between endpoint device and the internet capable computer. We can call it as a port server. Mail server, you know very well that sending emails, incoming mails, outgoing mails, incoming mails from local users, and remote senders, and forwarding outgoing mails for delivery. For this, we will be using mail server. Virtual server in the sense, idea about VMware. I think you are more aware of it. I think VMware workstation or something.
Yeah, I'm aware of it,
So
but no,
we
I
will.
don't have an in-depth knowledge.
Okay, so VMware is nothing but it is kind of a shared program. Shared program in the sense, if it is a VMware, suppose we will be having, we can have n number of operating systems inside in it. Means we can install n number of Suppose that this is a Ubuntu operating system. Suppose this is CentOS operating system. Suppose this is Windows operating system. Any kind of operating system can be installed in virtual server VMware workstation. That's why will be known as a shared server. Shared means sharing. Sharing will be available. It seems means each user that they have complete control of using each and every operating system which is there in the VMware workstations, which we can install n number of operating systems only in one particular software, that is VMware. So database server in the sense, on the database applications that provides database services like DB2, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, that is nothing but a
Mm-hmm.
database server. This is just for your knowledge point of view.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Just for the sake of knowledge. Data center, Monica, any idea? What is a data center? Data center. Have you heard about it last previously any time?
No, I have not heard.
Okay. Data center in the sense it is a collection of, suppose there is a data center. It is a collection of servers. It is a collection of storage. It is collection of network dual power supplies. Everything that will be stored in one particular physical. This is physical allocation. Physical that will be kept physically. That is nothing but a data center. It is a place. It is some place means in India where we have a data center means in Mumbai. We have a data center in Mumbai. In USA where we have North California, North Virginia, Ohio. These are the states in USA country. These are the states where we have data centers. Data center, how data center looks like means this, it will be looking like this. See, this is nothing but a data center. If you type in Google also how data center looks like, this is a picture means I have taken, but this will be like big and big auditorium, like so many servers. These are the servers. See, these are the servers and racks we will be calling. It consists of each and every information, storage and data information, network to your power supplies, application capability, everything. It holds everything that is kept in one physical centralized location. That is nothing but a data center. So this is one of the pictures I have taken from Google. You can in type in Google also how data centers look like. There will be more and more pictures available so that you will be getting an idea of it. What are the components of data centers? Nothing. The components are nothing but it's routers, switches. Okay. These components data center includes like firewalls, storage systems, servers, application delivery controllers like this. But you remember these data centers are divided into two infrastructures. What are the infrastructures? Network infrastructure as well as storage infrastructure. Storage infrastructure. What is network infrastructure in the sense? This server connects to physical as well as virtual data centers. Physically and virtually, the servers will be connecting to the data centers. So, data center services storage and external connectivity also to end user locations. Means from one data center to another data center also, the connection will be there. External connectivity will be also there. That is nothing but network infrastructure. Where is storage infrastructure in the sense you can store huge amount of data. Like data is like a fuel of the modern data centers. So you can store a number of data. So are you aware of these models?
I heard about SaaS, but yeah, Like
Okay.
I don't have a depth knowledge.
Mhm. Okay, fine. So SaaS in the sense software as a service. PaaS in the sense platform as a service. IaaS in the sense infrastructure as a service. So I'll be telling you what are these service and service models by giving a small example. Okay. So
Okay.
infrastructure as a service. Suppose infrastructure as a service is there. So what is infrastructure as a service in the sense? Suppose Monica, just an example I'm taking a common example, real time that how suppose you have completed your housewarming function. Okay, you have bought a new flat. Okay, you have bought a new flat in Hyderabad, and you have welcomed all people, and you have arranged a housewarming some function. You have completed. You went inside your flat. Exactly, what do you see when you inaugurate when your flat is built? What you see inside your flat?
Like the number of rooms.
Yeah, rooms, doors, windows, right? Doors,
Hmm.
windows, like this you will be saying. But you won't get anything apart from windows and doors. Am I right? So
Yeah.
you really not get anything from it. So you don't
Mhm.
get television, right? You don't get refrigerator. Getting my point?
Yeah, yeah.
So whatever it is, if you go and ask the builder, suppose here is a builder who built the flat. If you go and ask to him that, hey, I bought a house from you, why don't you buy a television for me? What will he say? My friend, it's not my job. My job is to give a flat, that's it, right? It's not my job to provide all the televisions and necessary. Whatever you have paid the money to me, I am giving you that flat, that's it. Getting things ready inside your house, it's your business. He will
Hmm.
say like this. Getting my point?
Yeah, yeah.
Similarly, what is the infrastructure in the sense? The vendor. Vendor means who, whether it is AWS or Azure or GCP, any kind of cloud, whatever the cloud is, the vendor will provide infrastructure only. Getting my point now?
Okay.
So, what is the infrastructure include? It can be compute, it can be network, it can be storage, it can be security. So these includes in the infrastructure. Getting my point? Only compute, network, storage, security. These things will be coming under infrastructure. So IAS will say that provisioning and looking the server up and running is my responsibility. And inside this, whatever you install, it's not my responsibility. Suppose you want to install Java, if you want to install MySQL or something, it's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to give you the infrastructure and keep the application up and running. Getting my point? This is infrastructure as a service. So platform as a service in the sense, suppose you are the owner of five people. You have a company and you are owner of five people. One Java guy, one .NET guy, and some five people. But you are looking for a sixth guy, another sixth guy who is a database guy. Getting my point? Database.
Oh,
You want to hire a database guy, okay? But
okay.
it will be a headache for you, right? If you want to hire a maintain, yeah, if you want to maintain a database guy, you need to pay at least 20K to 30K per month to him, and you need to hire him, right? It is an additional overhead to you, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what will you do in the sense, at this point of time you will be choosing platform as a service. Now what platform as a service gives you is, it gives a ready-made platform, like in the sense RDS, relational database service. It is a ready-made database platform. It will be given to you so that you can easily manage the database from Amazon itself. So you don't need to hire a database guy. So it's already a platform will be there in AWS so that you can easily work on it. Getting my point? So this is nothing but platform as a service. Software as a service in the sense, suppose as you know, the software is readily available. Like suppose if you have a if you have a team of 50 people, okay, 50 people, you are doing some stock market research like that, okay. So you need to have all the email addresses of 50 people, right, to submit to the client. So what will you do at that time? You don't want to put server email like that. So what will you choose? You directly choose Office 365. Getting my point? Office 365 or Salesforce CRM or what you will do, Google Apps. You can go ahead and ask and take the 50 people email addresses, and what Office 365 will do, you don't need to install and do everything. They give everything Office products. You need to just use it. That's it. This is nothing but a software as a service, readily
Okay.
available for you. So this is nothing but software as a service. So mainly these are the differences between IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So see here, IaaS means managed by vendor, and this will be managed by you. The PaaS in the sense only data and applications is managed by you. Remaining all will be managed by vendor. Whereas software as a service, only data will be managed by you and remaining all managed by vendor. Okay.
Okay.
Cloud providers. So what are the cloud providers? Only AWS is there or any other providers there? So there are different cloud service providers in the market. Mainly on the top hands, these are the cloud providers like AWS, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, GCP, DigitalOcean, IBM Cloud, Terramark. There are a lot more companies, but on the top, these are the standards which the cloud provides. So mainly we need to know, you are saying AWS. So you need to know that why did you choose AWS? Getting my point? So why if someone asks, so hey, why are you going to AWS or Azure or GCP like that? Every company has their own standards. First of all, Amazon Web Services has is the most standard one. Azure has its own standards. GCP has its own standards. But why are you choosing? So why are you choosing in the sense? Amazon Web Services started in the career 2006, and Azure started its career in the year 2010. GCP started in the year 2011. After 2011, these services have started. So
Okay.
Amazon Web Services is the oldest and well experienced cloud service provider in the market. By seeing this Amazon Web Services only, Azure came into the picture, GCP came into the picture. This Amazon Web Services provides cost optimization, reasonable cost. There won't be any high-end cost for you. Like another difference is that, so if you go to Amazon Web Service, if you choose Microsoft Azure, you will be having only one database, MySQL Server. MySQL Server. If you want to, if you are choosing DB2 kind of database, if you want to install in Microsoft Azure, it needs to be compatible with MySQL Server, or else you won't get be installed. Suppose if you want Aurora DB to install, no. Suppose if you want to install PostgreSQL, no.
Okay.
Only it needs to be compatible with MySQL Server, so that only they are moving to Azure.
Okay.
Whereas GCP, you will be having only two databases, MySQL and PostgreSQL. That's
So
it.
basically, when it's compared to AWS, other platforms has limited features.
limited features. AWS has completely 6 databases. So
Okay.
friendly user services like we have MySQL, PostgreSQL, we'll be having Oracle, and we will be having MariaDB, and we'll be having Aurora DB. Like that, we will be having it will be very user friendly to us. And compared to GCP cost optimization, I said right. Suppose a real time example I am taking that my friend is there and 6 months back I think so. I'm not sure about exactly the date and time, but my colleague he's working in GCP actually. So what happened in the sense he has uh, he opened a BigQuery, that there will be BigQuery like that. In this BigQuery, he has written some query and something, created a table or something, but he is forgotten to drop the table. So it charges more actually. So for 2 days, after 2 days he got strike and he had dropped the table. At the end, he got the bill of 24,000. Means the cost you compare, they have its own standards, but when you do it in Amazon, he will be most charging you 2,000 or 3,000, but not this much amount.
Okay.
Just I am telling you, but there will be charges for other services, but it will be clearly mentioned. Okay, we need to choose why we are using why we are going to AWS and all. So maximum it will be having a number of services which are coming. All our cloud providers say same, but they are following the AWS policies, which is a well experienced one. So these are the differences. This is the AWS, this is Azure, this is the GCP. So have you heard about downtime anytime, Monica?
Yes, Sandeep.
Yeah, yeah. So don't see this slide actually. This is about 2014. You don't consider about it. This is the oldest slide just for the sake I have kept here.
Okay.
Downtime in the sense no job will be running at that point of time when the server will be in the maintenance mode.
Maintenance.
So
Okay.
as you know, it will be there will be some activity, but that activity will be done only 54 minutes. Remember, 54 minutes in a year. In a year, only 54 minutes the activity will be done in AWS. At that time, Amazon will be indicating to every people that this point of time. Suppose you've forgotten at that time and you have run the job. So what happens? No issues. Amazon will take care of your copy. You don't know that their downtime is running. So you have you lost your data. No problem. Raise a case to Amazon. They will be getting back your data. So because it's their problem that the activity is going on, but they will be intimating when the downtime will be happening. Okay? When it will be happening. So these are the key takeaways. If you're choosing AWS, this will be more like dominates cloud provider dominant features such as configuration, monitoring, security, auto scaling, etc. Better offerings, more experience, enterprise friendly services, more open source tool integration you can use, global reach, everything more reliable when it comes to, of course these has its own strategies, but compared to cost optimization only, and also friendly services they can't use in Azure or GCP, so that for cost optimization and user friendly services all are switching to AWS. That is the reason behind it. So what is cloud actually, Monica? Do you have any cloud? What cloud means?
Mm. Um, like storing the data in the data centers.
Correct. No, correct. But, so that we will be calling as a remote storage. Getting my point? Remote, we can call simply a word known as it's a remote storage. The data will be stored remotely. Okay.
Okay.
Suppose For an example, if you have new phone and you have some data in it, so suddenly, unfortunately, you lost your mobile, but your data will be safe, right? Data will be safe in the cloud, right?
Yeah.
There
Mm-hmm.
won't be any harm to your data that will be harmful to your device, that you lost your data, you lost your phone, but you can gather the data from the cloud, right? Because you have the data. So from anywhere you can gather your data if you has. So suppose, mm, mm, so like this, as an example also I can say that suppose you went to USA, you went to USA, you have you forgot your laptop in India and you went to USA, and on your laptop there are on your in your laptop desktop icon, some there are files are there, so it's urgently needed for you, but you went to USA. So what you will do at that time? What you will do? So you will be calling to your friends or your parents or your brother or sister that, hey, please upload my data into Google Drive so that I can
I can.
share, I can
Yeah.
see, here, I can access. Yeah. So like that, wherever you go, the cloud will be available, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to worry about it. So cloud is to store the files in the cloud. It's undoubtedly to store files. So, what is the media we use to connect to the cloud? What is the
Your primary
media?
thing is internet.
Internet connection, right? So, internet connection we use to connect a data. See, this is how data center looks like. This is a broad picture I have taken. Data center is looking like this. These are all servers, right? So this will be maintained in different locations. Okay, so we need internet connection to connect to a data center or any other in the cloud. So what is AWS now? We have speak this half an hour you gain knowledge on the backend how AWS means. So coming to AWS, what is the AWS actually? AWS means it's an Amazon Web Services is a secure cloud services platform offering compute power, database storage, content delivery, and other functionality to help businesses scale and grow. Getting my point? So, do you
Mm-hmm.
have any doubt in this? All right.
So far, I'm clear, Sandeep.
Yeah, okay, fine, cool. So, Amazon providers will be providing this, it will be offering compute services like EC2, database storages like RDS, S3, simple storage service, content delivery network like VPC, everything you will be coming to know. So, what is AWS in the sense? It is a global cloud platform actually. Global cloud platform used by around 85% of the companies. 85% of the companies it's used. And infrastructure platform, it's a software as a service also. And it is also cloud storage platform. It is also called as cloud storage platform. So why new people will be having a thinking, right? Why AWS is a big hit actually? What is the reason behind it? Most of the members will be having this question. So solution is for our billing. The billing will be done for our easy sign up process. Yes, you don't have to sign any agreement or something here. Just you need to have your credit card or debit card details and you need to have your email ID. That's it. The sign up process will be very easy. Simple billing. The billing will be very simple. You should not panic at any point of time, like each and every information will be there in your billing. So in this free tier account, we will be creating a free tier account after a couple of days. So you will be working on that free tier account. It will be validity for 12 months. 12 months. For 12 months, you don't need to pay any single amount for using your account. So I'll be guiding you how to do everything, so you don't need to worry about it. If there is any cost also, if suppose 5,000, 10,000 also, you should not panic. You won't pay that money to them, so you don't need to worry about it. So
Okay.
stability in the sense it will be stabilizing all the services. The services are completely stabilized, so it will be having a balancer also, load balancing kind of thing. I'll be everything explaining you everything. And finally, trusted vendor. AWS is a trusted vendor, so that you can trust the AWS. So you don't need to worry. You will be coming to know after signing in, after creating an account, while you are working on AWS, you will be coming to know the billing process and all everything. So if, at that time also you can trust this AWS. Cost optimization. Cost optimization is per hour billing for almost everything, and it's a region specific pricing. Yes, AWS is a region specific pricing. We have totally around 24 regions across globe. So different region, different prices will be there. Okay, suppose in Mumbai region, there will be prices will be different. In USA, the prices will be different. In London, Paris, the prices will be different. Term specific pricing. Term specific means there will be short term and long term duration. The pricing will be there. That will also include spot resources. Yes, means at this point of time, I need this resource. That is nothing but spot resource. I'll be explaining you all these spot resources, everything. This will be coming in EC2, so you don't need to worry about it. Regions also coming. Everything will be just. It's an overview for you today that to understand the terminology I'm saying. That it will be
Okay.
covering all this. So how big AWS is? See how big AWS is. I told you 24 regions. You can search in Google also. 24 regions. It has 24 regions. It's a global footprint also. It has multiple availability zones per region. Tomorrow we will be seeing region. What is region? What is availability zone? There is a special class today, tomorrow. So you don't need to worry about availability zone. So
Okay.
just this is a point we are mentioning now. Future of AWS. Yes, future of AWS means I can guarantee you that because I know as per my knowledge, it holds 170 plus services or 212 I saw previously. The services which are running in AWS. So and few more services like machine learning, something kind of things they are in the process to come. So this future of AWS or any other cloud service provider will be having at least 15 to 20 years more because all will be going in one format only. So you don't need to worry about it because everyone are looking for uh, this AWS kind of thing where then they don't need to invest anything. So can I ask you one thing like on-premise, right? On-premise, you're aware of it, right?
On premise.
On-premise. So someone will ask, or at the point your friend may ask or your colleague may ask that, hey, do you know the difference between the on-premise and cloud? So
Oh, okay. On
on-premise,
premise. Yeah, yeah, I got it. Okay.
yeah, where we invest our money and where we hire employees and where we do our thing on our shoulders,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
we will be having on our own
So
responsibility,
basically
right?
physical versus virtual kind of thing, right? Like
Yeah,
on
yeah,
premise is
yeah, yeah.
physical and yeah, okay.
Physical and virtual hiring. Suppose before cloud came into the picture, all the companies are completely on premise. So when cloud came into the picture, they're storing every data on the cloud, right?
Mhm.
So cloud means undoubtedly a remote storage where we don't see any particular kind of thing. But on premise, in the sense, we maintain our own data. We are responsible for our own data. So cloud means just we will be if we want to delete your application, do you can delete at any point of time. If you want to insert the data, you can insert any point of time like that. So future of AWS is very good, and this is the difference between on-premise and cloud. Companies using AWS. There are multiple companies that uses AWS. So these are the top companies: Network, Unilever, Kellogg's, GE, Amazon, Pfizer, Zynga, Samsung. So mostly there are hundreds of companies are there. Just I have picked top 10 like that. Just and I have kept. So these companies use AWS. Why use AWS? So why use AWS in the sense, I have just kept one scenario, just a small story that suppose this is one guy, his name is Rohit or something. So he want to start a business of Instagram. Instagram is well developed, but he wants to start an Instagram with 10 people, with only 10 people. So he's in the starting stage, initial stage. He want to have with 10 users. So what do he need in order to start a business? Means investment, right? So first of all, he needs investment. He had invested the money and he bought the servers. Everything is fine. Okay, he needs investment and he bought the servers. Everything is cool. But what happened is at this point 10 users has been increased to 100 users. So at this point of time, see here, his situation will be somewhat like this because he need money to buy more servers because servers been crashed. Only for 10 users he bought the server, but the
Mm.
users got increased 100 users. Oh, then what he thinks is that he will be investing some more money and he will be buying some more servers. Okay, so the situation comes to normal. Now he is happy. But what happens is, uh, after 2 to 3 months, uh, this 100 users will be increased to 1,000 users. Suddenly a change. His business is running well. Suddenly he increased to 1,000 users. At this point of time, his situation will be like this because server is not available. There are limited servers available and there are more number of users. So how to tackle, how to control? There is more data. The GB got increased into TBs or petabytes. So there is unable to handle. So at this time he smartly thinks, and what he do is he will hire a maintenance team. He will hire a maintenance team. So he need to pay for it, but the users are feeling happy. Now the situation is normal. This 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 scenario, this kind of scenario is uh, has seen by one of the cloud service provider known as AWS. At this point of time, AWS came into the picture there and saying that why don't you use my servers? Why are you investing money? Why are you buying all those servers? Why are you doing all these things? Why are you
Yeah.
hiring a maintenance team? Why don't you use my servers? I have stack of servers in my data warehouse. So
Mhm.
why are you struggling more? So just come to me. So if you come to me, what are the servers you need? You can take it. You can pay for the service which we are used. That's it. You can work as a pay as you go. If you don't want to use server, just terminate it. I have n
Mm.
number of servers in my data warehouse. Like this, AWS came into the picture. So this is AWS, also known as Infrastructure as a Service. It's a cloud service provider, Amazon Web Services. So we will be covering, like as you have seen the content also. Just AWS includes computing power as EC2, RDS, security like firewalls, virtualization like VMware Hyper-V, and developing SDK, software development kit, networking like VPC, storage as S3. So you do analytics. So everything we will be covering as individual service in our classes. So each S3 will be having a separate session. EC2 will be having a separate session. Databases will be having a separate session. Firewalls, everything will be having these components as a individual sessions in coming sessions or coming classes. So you don't need to worry. So this is about on-premise. Like on-premise needs high availability and fault tolerant. So these are the two major pillars in on-premise. Suppose you have started a software company. Monica has started a software company in the year 2016. She started with 1,000 users with 3 servers. The year went well. In the year 2017, she means you thought about 6 servers with having 5,000 users. You have analyzed correctly. But in the year 2018, you will be estimating more that, hey, these servers are 6 servers are there, then maybe I can handle much more. Like that, you will be thinking, and you will be estimating 20,000 users with 15 servers. But the used servers will be only 7 servers. These remaining will be getting underutilized. So what's now? You have spent amount on this, right? This
Yeah.
went underutilized. So
And we're not using.
yeah, not using. So your cost wasted, your time wasted, everything got wasted, and users are only 7,000 users can use, not 20,000. At
Mhm.
this point of time, at this point of time, your analysis went wrong. So at this time, scalability and elasticity came into the picture. This is completely on-premise I'm talking about, scalability and elasticity. So remember, high availability, fault tolerant, scalability, and elasticity. These are the 4 major pillars in the on-premise. So 2016, 1,000 users with having these 4 features. This is the one which we maintain. 3,000 users with 3 servers, 4,000 users with 4 servers, 1,000 users with 2 servers, like this, so that the situation will be very stable in the software company which you are maintaining. So without these, if any one of these loss means it will be gone. So like this, you need to maintain on-premise, so that only by seeing all this, AWS came into the picture. So this AWS has started its career in the year 2006. From there, all are opting for AWS. So what are the benefits? This is a solution architect. What we gain, designing and deployment, high availability, fault tolerance, and everything. These are the few points I have written. That's it. And benefits of AWS means it's a scalability, commitment free, very security, it's reliability also, and it's a flexible as well as customizable. So by having this AWS, these are the benefits of AWS which we see actually. So this is all about AWS. This just a glance of AWS, how AWS came into the picture when it has started everything. I've told only 2 to 3 days, just 2 days. I hope so. Today and tomorrow we'll be having a theory class. So remaining from day after tomorrow we'll be having completely hands-on that you will be doing in your account. I'll be guiding you how to do in each and every service, how we are doing, what is that, what is what we'll be seeing. So first 2 to 3 classes maximum will be theory classes. Later on each and everything will be practical. I'll be showing you and I'll be guiding you wherever you